I received a revelation about what it means to guard your heart. It started when I read an article about Christ. And in this article, he was breaking down the science of what was going on with Christ's body as he was being physically and brutally beaten during the crucifixion. And it's a very drawn out and detailed account of what Christ had to go through. And so I won't go through all the details, but I will put it in the comments so, everybody can see or go and read for themselves that article, because it is very inspiring. It's very eye-opening. It shows you the sacrifice truly from a very practical and real standpoint. But the part that I wanted to highlight is what happens when the body loses blood. So we know that Christ's blood was like the shedding of innocent blood. When you shed blood, literally what he was saying is what happens is that the blood vessels within your body, they begin to constrict in your extremities. And the reason this is happening is because your body is trying to protect your most vital organ, which is the heart. So literally your body is guarding your heart by shutting down all the other systems and extremities in order for the heart to survive if in case of an emergency. And we all know that when a person is, dealing with some type of life or death situation, as long as their heart is still beating, they're considered alive. But all the other systems can shut down, but the heart cannot shut down. Once the heart shuts down, then they're no longer alive. So that's the reason why it's so important to guard the heart, because the heart is the center of the body. So the same thing happens spiritually and emotionally with the emotional body. When we experience the shedding of innocent blood from a spiritual standpoint, when we experience an offense that is violence to our soul, that is an abuse to our soul, sometimes it seems like we're going numb. You know what I mean? Have you ever experienced where you were, someone was literally offending you in the moment, and your whole body or your whole spiritual or emotional body went numb, like you couldn't feel anything? This is the definition of guarding your heart, because literally, just like with the body, and when the body goes through that type of trauma of the shedding of innocent blood, it shuts down all your other systems. It numbs your extremities just so that the heart can survive. So when God tells us to guard our hearts, what he's telling us is to basically mortify our flesh. Mortify your flesh so that your heart can be guarded by the constriction of the loss. You know what I mean? You're protecting your heart from the loss of that blood, because your heart is the thing in which all issues come out of. The heart is so important to preserve in situations. You can lose other things. You can lose your sense of, confidence. You can lose friends. You know what I mean? You can lose a lot of things. You can even lose your sense of, what is, your mentality. You can lose all of that. But the heart, as long as the heart remains pure and has good intentions, and as long as you don't allow for somebody to taint and toxify your heart, then you can survive anything. Your soul can still stay alive. But once that heart is tainted, then your soul is at jeopardy. And that is the death that is your spiritual death. So this is what it means to guard your heart. When you are in a sense of offense, when you are going through a major offense in the shedding of the innocent spiritual blood, remember Christ's testimony and remember all that he went through and how his body went through survival mode, and all of our bodies, physical bodies. When we go through abuse like this, we go through a survival mode. We need to meditate and make sure that we understand the system that we are supposed to go through emotionally and spiritually in order to guard our hearts. You mortify the flesh. You cut off all instances of the flesh and pride. And then you allow your heart to survive the situation so that once you come out, your soul is still there with you and your soul is still alive. And you're still breathing in that breath of life, which is the spirit, which is very important.